No one is asking you to go and to be beaten. All you're being asked to do is not just to say, I voted. I talk to a lot of people and say, I voted. And I say, but how many other people did you get to the polls? This is not a condemnation of the persons who are voting. It is about getting other people to the polls. Out in the foyer, there are 2 women with the Johnson County League of Women Voters. I was a past president of the Johnson County League of Women Voters. And what I can say is that last time in the last election throughout the state, we registered over 20,000 persons. But everybody was shocked when I said, that is good, but registering persons to vote is passive. It does nothing if you register if you don't get to the polls. And so souls to the polls is about transporting people to the polls. If we look at the price of equality, Medgar Evers paid that price. He was a young man that died at age 37, shot in the back. He had served the United States in World War II, and he came home and became a leader in the NAACP. He was registering people to vote, and he decided that he would be the example and vote. As he was going into his home with his wife and 2 children, he was shot in the back. And for a long period of time, no one was held accountable for his death. In 1964, we talked about the murders of those 3 young men who were called the Freedom Riders. And for 44 days, their bodies were not found, because what they found out was that all of the persons in power were complicit. They were working together. They let the young men out at night. They arrested them so that they would be in jail at night. Then they let them out, and then they were surrounded by the KKK. Already their graves had been, a huge grave, a common grave had been dug for them. They were covered, and then for 44 days their bodies were not found. You saw Ms. Goodman and Mr. Goodman speaking. And then we know about Selma to Montgomery. There are 54 miles from Selma to Montgomery. And the persons who participated in that march walked 3 full days, around the clock, walking, to bring to everyone's attention the lack of voting and the intimidation about voting that was occurring. So in 1965, that Selma March, we know that John Lewis was in it. We know it was led by Dr. King. We know that Dr. King did not realize it. But right after that march, in April, Dr. King was assassinated. He had seen JFK killed, and he had begun to realize, my days are numbered. Can you imagine? In 1958, many of you may not know that, Dr. King was stabbed and almost lost his life. And they told him, you know what? If you had sneezed, you would have lost your life. And so he gave a speech, if I had sneezed. And he went through, if he had sneezed, all of the things that he would not have been able to do to advance black rights. But then, after the Selma March, and what really mobilized the United States and actually raised the consciousness. Right now, we're kind of in limbo. No one is really paying a lot of attention. We almost are comatose. But what raised the consciousness of the entire nation was when people saw the people on the Pettus Bridge and the troopers who were on horses beating and clubbing them, almost to the point of death. So in 1968, Dr. King, after the Selma March, gave that famous speech, I have a dream. I'd like to have longevity. Everyone would. But I have been, like Moses, to the mountaintop. I have looked into the promised land. And I may not get there with you, but I know that you will get there. And we heard one young man talk about black girls and white girls and black children living together in peace. That can only happen if you rise up, if you decide, I will get 10 other people who have not voted to those polls, at least 10. And so, today, you might say, what does this have to do with us? In 2019, I think this is our last slide. In 2019, there was only 16.94% in Wyandotte County voted in this last election. 16.94%. 89,000 registered voters and only 16.94% voted. Where are we? What is the price of equality? What is the price of freedom? So when we think that we're going to sit it out, we've got advanced voting, please vote, but take other people. Join the Souls to the Polls initiative. So I ask you, what are you willing to do? Thank you so much.
Let's get that.